Welcome. We're going to look at the Avidyne IFD 550 FMS system installed in a Citation 560. That's the Citation 5 in this case. And this was done by A&J Aero in Arkansas. So let's hop in the cockpit and take a look. You can see the new equipment installed. First, some of the features of this installation. Dual WAS GPSs and FMSs, so great redundancy. Your ADSB in and out compliant. Coupled LTD approaches for your autopilot, synthetic vision, backup attitude. You've also got integration with your iPad, fully wirelessly, air data, well, that's true airspeed, wind direction, electronic charts, real-time VNAV calculations for your descents, and a QWERTY keyboard both on the screen and a physical keyboard to touch and feel. And then, of course, traffic and weather through ADSB, terrain information and terrain warnings, assisted radio frequencies, which is a neat feature of the Avidyne, and a better emergency bus. So the Citation is a great plane for this installation. We've got 10 seats in this one, plus of course the belted lav. So this plane is worthy of an upgrade, and here we go into the cockpit. You can see the two Avidyne IFD 550s, which are kind of the heart and soul of this installation, installed right in the center of the panel. And we'll be talking about the features and capabilities of the units. This plane's got a Garmin 796 on the pilot side yoke installed, fully integrated once again. And on the co-pilot side, we've got an iPad, which is running the IFD 100 application from Avidyne. Again, wirelessly communicates with the Avidyne units so that you can control your flight plan, etc. Here's that physical keyboard where the old FMS used to be. It's a really beautiful installation. It really makes the panel look modern and sleek. So we usually have it set up with the FMS number 1 with your flight plan information, and the bottom FMS set up as synthetic vision. We can zoom in here and see the synthetic vision with data on the right. As we flip pages, there's your flight plan, waypoint information, routes that you can put in, nearest function, nearest airports, etc. Chart information, maps. You can easily change the map from north up to track up with the push of a button. You can declutter as necessary for your phase of flight. Really useful map page. We can go over and see that synthetic vision again and look at the overhead view of Centennial Airport, the Rocky Mountains in the background, zoom in, zoom out. Remember, this is touchscreen, or you can use buttons and knobs. Fuel management, so it's fully integrated there. Options for each user. Digital checklists if you want them. Audio controls, and then of course some calculators. You've got trip calculators, and very importantly, you've got air data calculators and fuel planning calculators. We get full air data from the system as well as fuel flow, so you can use that in real time. There are those charts again. Again, you can zoom in, move around with your finger. Fully integrated with the Honeywell EFIS, so that's really important, obviously. I'm going to demonstrate here how when we change a waypoint on the FMS, there goes the Honeywell to follow that new waypoint. You can see the distance there, fully integrated, even for LTD approaches. This unit has a great automatic frequency finder. It knows where you are, so it helps you find frequencies that you might need based on your location. And one of the things that we've done here is integrated it with a Garmin 796. So as we put in different flight plans or edit our flight plan, the Garmin 796 automatically syncs up with the Avidyne. Some of the new buttons that you get, LNAV 1 and 2 to switch between the FMSs, and then ATC 1 and 2 for your transponder. So we've got some screenshots here to depict the features of the Avidyne. Here's a good shot of the Jeppesen charts. Here's a aircraft on the airport diagram. You've got a good shot of the sort of highway in the sky to follow. There's a holding pattern coming up. Great way to visualize what's next. Terrain warning. The red is bad, yellow's caution, everything else is okay. And of course that also works with obstacles. You can see the tower there in red. Here's traffic. You can see the yellow traffic and the blue traffic depicted. Here's that beautiful runway coming in, synthetic vision. Note the glide slope. And then here's your highway in the sky again, and this is important. Think about losing your main battery bus. You switch to emergency. You still have the Avidyne. You can basically follow that magenta line down to the ground. And this one's really important. Us jet pilots know that we are often given arrivals and approaches where you must cross a particular waypoint at a particular altitude. The Avidyne does a particularly well job compared to other FMS systems out there in giving you information on your VNAV. So you'll notice vertical speed required. That's the descent rate that is required to cross the next waypoint at the published altitude. And if you fly a legacy FMS from a big jet, you'll recognize that green line. That confirms that you're going to cross the next waypoint at the right altitude. And again, compared to other FMS systems out there for general aviation, I think Avidyne does a really good job of knowing what jet pilots need in terms of VNAV capabilities. So now up in the air, we're going to shoot an LTD approach. This is the RNAV GPS runway 35 right approach in the Centennial. And you'll see we'll join the final approach course just outside of JIDOG and follow it in. So here's the Avidyne making that turn coming in from the east. Here's the iPad showing the course. We're approaching JIDOG. We're captured on approach in the autopilot. And if you look at the glide slope on the Honeywell, we're perfectly tracking. And here we are on the 796 coming in. And look at that glide slope on the synthetic vision. Very, very helpful. Coming on in, runway 35 right. Here comes the runway on the synthetic vision, and ready for a perfect landing. So the system's really great, intuitive, easy to use, and if you want to, stay tuned to watch us put in a flight plan into the system. Okay, we're in the cockpit of the Citation V with the Avidyne FMS system, and we're going to do a simple flight plan entry to demonstrate all the capabilities of the Avidyne FMS. Let's take a look. All right, we're going to look at the co-pilot side here, and on the co-pilot side we've got the IFD 100 app up and live on the iPad, and of course that's connected wirelessly to the two FMSs. So the clearance we've been given is from Santa Monica Airport, the Santa Monica 3 departure, Daggett transition, pickup J9 to Las Vegas VOR, then direct Vrain for the Zombies 1 arrival into Centennial. So let's put that in. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. One is to enter here in the Avidyne, and of course the other is to put it in your iPad and say ForeFlight, and then you can actually just sync ForeFlight and the Avidyne wirelessly and send flight plans back and forth. But let's do it in the actual unit. So press enter, let's put an origin in, and we're going to put in Santa Monica. Keyboard comes up, which is pretty cool. You can also use the real keyboard, the physical keyboard. And what I like to do is put in my arrival. So let's put in waypoint, and let's put in Centennial. Okay, APA. Okay, so now we've got our destination, sorry, our origin and our destination. And then we can click here and go to procedure, and we can click the Santa Monica 3 departure and Daggett transition, and we're going to depart runway 21. So there we go. There is all of the waypoints, including altitudes, by the way, which is great on this unit, all the way to Daggett. Okay, and then we're going to pick up J9 to Las Vegas. So what we can do is we can just put this cursor here in the middle, press enter, and let's come down here to Airways J9. There it is. And we're going to exit at Las Vegas. And then at Centennial, we're going to do procedure, and there's arrivals. We're going to do the Zombies 1. There it is. Vrain. And there it is. So our flight plan is now entered. You'll notice that the FMS puts your fuel at each waypoint, calculated based on fuel burn. When we get into the air, that number will update automatically, and I'll know exactly how much fuel I have at each waypoint, including at my destination. So that's how you put in a flight plan. Pretty simple. And then what I typically do is leave the top Avidyne in my FMS so I can constantly see my waypoints, my crossing altitudes. This FMS does a great job giving you VNAV profiles, so you're constantly being told at what rate you need to descend in order to cross the next waypoint at the appropriate altitude. And then on the bottom one, I kind of can play with different screens. So synthetic vision, obviously, is a great one. You know, here on synthetic vision, you have artificial horizon, which does have its own AHARs. You've got, you can pull up data, which, you know, you can choose what fields you have, but you've got your, let's activate this flight plan, okay? And this tells me that the next waypoint is this waypoint at 580 feet. Why don't we go ahead and say direct to Rash, okay? And now Rash shows up as the next waypoint. I have my desired track, how much fuel I'll have at that location, and the time to get there. Obviously, we're on the ground, so it's not reading accurate information. It's going to give me my true, my total air temperature, and then my static air temperature. How much fuel I have right now. I haven't updated this, but if I had, it would tell me my fuel remaining. Obviously, in the air, that's really valuable. How much fuel you have remaining measured in minutes. And your minimum safe altitude, your wind vector, and you can change all these data fields sort of as you see fit. Let's go over here and look at the iPad. Look how that entire flight plan synced automatically to the iPad. So as we're flying along, we've got all the same information syncing automatically. By the way, the iPad, you can leave on this synthetic vision page, and you've got full synthetic vision. You've got it'll give you true airspeed. It'll give you your AHARs, it'll give you your magnetic compass heading. You've got your FMS page, you've got, of course, a map page. And again, one of the great things about this unit is, you know, they know that you're going to be crossing various waypoints at different altitudes. And so, just like a real FMS, you're given each waypoint and each crossing altitude right there next to it. Really valuable if you're shooting an arrival or you're shooting an approach that has crossing altitudes. So we can go back to FMS mode here. In fact, if we make a change on this, it will change here as well. So let's go direct Daggett. I can hit there. Let's clear that. I can say direct to Daggett. Okay, enter, activate, and check that out. We've got direct Daggett here on the FMS. By the way, you'll also notice that the iPad has your frequencies. So if I press the frequency button here, and I pick, let's just do Centennial Tower, okay, and I make that active, it's synced with my iPad. iPad is always in sync with the FMS wirelessly. Just to show you a couple of other pages and a couple other features, if you want to put in a frequency, there's two ways to do it. Press frequency. It'll give you the frequency that you're closest to. Really convenient feature. So if I'm on the ground at Centennial, I can go down here to ATIS, press enter, make it active, and now I'm listening to ATIS, and it does tell me that I'm listening to Centennial ATIS. Or you can just press the button here, up comes the keyboard. If I know the frequency for let's say the tower is 118.9, I can press that. I can make it active, and in fact, to make it even easier, you don't even need to press the 1. We can just say 20.3, 23, enter. Oops, 23, enter. And there it is. Okay. A couple of other features here. You got, again, synthetic vision. You can just have in simple AHARs, or you can have full synthetic vision. You can see the runway there. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. When you're en route, when you're flying, the mountains change colors based on the terrain relative to your altitude. There's your FMS. I can pull up information on an airport. Here's the Palmdale Airport. I can pull up weather. I can pull up all kinds of information on that. That's a VOR. Let's put in Centennial. Okay, I've got information on the airport. Okay, I've got weather information. Here's my weather. Okay, I can pull that up. And really, you've got all kinds of different information that you can pull up. Here's a map page. You can see that weather is starting to populate. That weather is coming through via ADSB. I can very simply press the weather overlay button, and I can turn off or turn on information that I want to see. So there it is with no weather. If I press this, I can now have METARs show up. Okay, you can see the little flags there, different airports. Blue is obviously VFR, red is IFR. And you can press these buttons to make it easy to subtract or include information that may be valuable to you. And one thing I like about this is I'm a guy that likes to fly typically north up, but every once in a while you want to go to track up. Simply press this button in, and there you go. Switching between north up and track up. You have charts. This is great for taxiing in particular. So I can zoom in, I can see where I'm physically sitting on the airport at Centennial, and when I get my ground clearance to taxi, and they give me taxi via Charlie to Alpha, there it is, and I can watch the airplane move right on the screen. You can also select other charts. You can, you know, here's Centennial. If I want to look up, for example, an arrival in Centennial, here's the ILS localizer 35 right, and there's my chart. And I can do different views based on what I want to see as it relates to that chart. Obviously, it puts the airplane right there on the chart, so you know that you know where you are. The auxiliary page has a number of tools. You've got fuel management. So when we're flying, it knows our fuel flow. It gives us our fuel at each waypoint. That's obviously great for trip planning. You can go over here to utilities. You've got a number of calculators. There is full air data in this system, so it'll constantly give you your true airspeed, your TAT. Here's your fuel planner. You do a trip planner. Also, you can load checklists. You can create your own checklists, upload them, and use the Avidyne, the digital checklist. An overhead map view. You can zoom in, we can see where we are on the field. Zoom out, you can see the Rocky Mountains over there. We can always pull data out so that we've got the additional information of whatever we've chosen for these data fields. So it really is a very clean and simple FMS. It's easy to make edits to your flight plan. It's easy to insert arrivals. It's easy to insert Victor Airways. The maps are clean and bright. You've got traffic from ADS-B, you've got weather from ADS-B, and again, this synthetic vision is fantastic when you're flying in terrain or you're flying in IFR conditions. You want to see your runway. It's really clean and great.